TB&J! TB&J! TB&J!
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the TB&J podcast, where we watch TV and movies and tell you what's worth watching. Sitting across from me is Troy Brittingham.
I got first billing this time.
Because you're here.
Oh, my God.
That's how that works.
Oh, no.
Off my right is Chris Carroll.
See what happens when you show up to your job?
And D sitting over there,
Hello,
drinking some
everyone.
whiskey like
Yeah.
always.
Yeah, it's actually Fireball, so it's cheap whiskey.
You drink what's in my cabinet.
Pseudo-weak whiskey. No, I've been drinking it all week, actually. It's all I have to.
And across from me is Jeff Ack.
Thank you. Guys, what did we watch this week? Troy?
I don't remember.
If you mean by
It was so
by
long
this
ago.
week, by moments ago, squad goals.
Yes.
We're doing the squad cast.
We rolled in like the cast of The Hangover strolling into the Vegas casinos.
Yeah,
And,
seriously.
We trickled in one by one. Dude was already there.
We were 9 deep. We were 9 deep.
That's true, yeah.
Or
D brought the whole
more, no,
family.
10 deep. 10 deep. We were 10 deep.
The whole family got in there.
The D-bags, as we call them.
Yeah, that is a great nickname for my family.
You should put that on your Christmas cards.
Oh, absolutely. From D in the bags.
It's like Hootie and the Blowfish.
Which one's D? Which one's the bag? So, what did
We
you
saw
got?
Venom 2.
We
Let
saw
there be
Venom 2.
carnage.
Yes, Let There Be Carnage.
It's not actually called Venom 2, but it's Venom 2. It's called Venom, Let There Be Carnage.
Let There Be Carnage, and it was this was let this be exactly as long as it needed to be for me to not lose interest.
Yes. I
Like-
feel like if this were any longer and if they developed side characters any further, it would have gone on too long.
Anybody who says like, "Oh, I really wish they did more with it," no, I don't
No?
want to see any more.
This
of
is really-
anyone in this movie at all.
This is really the best
It's
they
not
could
a
have
bad
done.
movie. It's not a bad movie.
It's a good movie. It did not outstay its welcome.
It did not necessarily to it, like almost like purposely so, like with razor focus. So, like
Yeah.
they were like, "You want to see that?" No, there was even like a hard edit at like eating a guy's head at one point. That I'm just like, wow, they didn't even care about that. They were just like, no, any more editing, any a single more frame to present this in a better in a that looked like a TV edit for TV for like prime time.
You know
viewing.
what? You say that, and that was what I thought of too.
It was exactly like it was like, oh, they just cut a scene. Like like they literally were like, there's a director's cut version of this movie that's an hour 45 minutes, and there's an hour 30 minutes.
Release the Snyder Cut.
Like this is and by the way, this is 100%. What's his name's Dr. Claw. We just did it. What's his face's Claw from Black Panther? He's Gollum.
Oh, Andy Serkis.
He's
Andy
the director.
Serkis, okay.
He's the director. He had probably final say on all of this.
Really? Circus?
Yes, you didn't see that.
I didn't. I
He's the
should do a
director.
better job of being a podcast host. I should know those things. But no,
Yes.
I didn't even. Didn't
Well, we
catch
try
that.
to stay unspoiled.
Yeah, you know what? Because we were going to see Venom, Let There Be Carnage, and you had immediately
Jeff-
said stay off the internet.
Jeff is
So I
Jeff is so professional that he didn't even know the director of this movie. He was like, "It's a spoiler. It's a spoiler."
I literally refused to Google it because I did not want to
You're
accidentally.
only a bad podcaster for not recognizing it while watching the movie, and they said director Andy Serkis
Okay.
multiple times.
Okay, fine. Tom Hardy's obviously back as Eddie Brock / Venom. Does he do Venom's voice this time around? Because I know he did it in
Yes.
the first one.
Yes,
Okay, I wasn't sure about that. And as Carnage, we have fucking Woody Harrelson
Yes.
with like the most weirdest like ginger hair.
no, his wig was great. His wig was perfect.
It's his third wig, by the way.
The wig looked okay. It looked way better than the fucking credit scene after Venom. But like, I just not used to seeing Woody Harrelson with red hair. It was a little jarring. At
I
first.
want-
My
wanna
brain
say-
can't comprehend it.
I want to say he had a different wig in one of the trailers or something like that, and then they changed it.
Here's the thing with the best thing with Eddie. With him in the voice was the fact that they had a younger actor. They say like this movie saves so much money by just not CGIing Woody Harrelson's face for the younger like opening scene where he's the asylum with Shriek, and and they just this poor guy, whatever lines he was saying are not heard because you just hear Woody Harrelson's voice over it. They just dubbed Woody Harrelson's voice over it, and it's like this poor guy. Does he get paid the same way? Is he basically an extra now? Like, is he just an extra?
What a great! I have no idea.
It's a great question.
Like, he doesn't. Like, there's no way they paid this guy. Look, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna fuck over a young actor.
Here's $20. You're Carnage, idiot.
We're gonna fuck over a young actor who has a vague resemblance to both Cletus Cassidy and Woody Harrelson.
Right. Now, my biggest question with this movie is that it doesn't seem... I know this is... You guys are going to shit on me for trying to find some logic here that might carry over from Venom to Venom 2.
Jeff, please. We were going to shit on you regardless.
Yeah, that's very true.
That's fair.
But in the first Venom, they make it very clear that the symbiote needs to bond to a suitable host in order to survive. Mm-hmm. And I was under the impression a symbiote could not replicate itself, but that's exactly what happens here, and how Venom births Carnage.
Well, actually, there's a reason for that, Jeff. They don't give a shit.
Yeah, but no, wait, no one. This is the first time anybody bit an infected host.
True, and that's what I'm saying. Like, maybe that's why it happened, because the blood with Venom in it got into Cletus, and that's how he got the symbiote in him, and it replicated itself.
Clearly, that was how they told the story.
Or Venom was pregnant. That's the other solution.
That's why he was so active to run away when he's like, "Oh, it's a red one. Fuck, I'm out.
I ain't paying child support."
Yeah, there was a lot of cravings in the beginning of the movie.
He was acting very motherly to some chickens.
So, based on some Googling I did on the Marvel Wikipedia, apparently that is exactly how Carnage is born. Right. Venom does have like an offspring symbiote.
Venom in the comics, Venom breaks out of jail and he's like roommates with Cletus Cassidy.
Yeah.
So Eddie Brock breaks out and he like cuts himself on a bar. Right?
Yeah.
And the symbiote blood or whatever it is drips off. And it attaches to him. So there is like an offspring.
For the record, this is comic Venom, not movie Venom.
Comic Venom. In the movie, Cletus just bites Eddie after Eddie like unleashes a bit of Venom on him and gets the blood in him, and that's how he becomes Carnage on the fucking death table as they're trying to lethally inject him. And it's just... That struck me as very odd for the birth, but I guess if that's just how the comics do it.
That's lethally inject, not lethally protect.
Yes.
I don't get it. Explain it to me in great detail.
Well, you see, there's a scene in the movie where they want to
wait
become
till the end.
Oh,
it's the after credit scene.
Yes,
I'll be waiting on that with bated breath.
Of course you will. But this movie is actually because I just saw Venom for the very first time last night, and this movie does a great job of picking up where Venom left off and then continuing the story. The only thing I wasn't a super big fan of as far as like plot devices was every single movie where you have a really good movie, like fucking Toy Story, for example. You set up the movie and they're fighting at first, like Woody and Buzz. They make up, they have become the dynamic duo at the end. And then in the second movie, you have to separate them. You have to break them up. You got to do something. They have to be individual entities again. Yeah. And I felt like it was a little forced this time around because they were really like in sync at the end of Venom, and at the beginning of Venom 2, he's like brains, and Eddie's like, no, eat chickens and chocolate. Like what?
D was saying this before we started recording. You were basically like, this is pretty much the same movie as the first one.
No, I didn't think. I thought no. I actually think that, and this is not. I'm not the first person to say this. The first movie, like, skipped the second act. It skipped this whole part. It skipped this whole part where they actually had any issue with one another.
You know what?
They jumped right to that end, and that's like I'm not saying anything that hasn't been said. They skipped the second act of the movie in the first, and I'm like, and everybody was like, "Yeah, Venom," and I'm like, you don't have the, and even then, back then, I was like, you don't have the excuse of this being like a COVID-19 thing yet.
No, that movie came out in 2018.
Like, no. Like this is how you're naturally reacting to this movie. I was like, it skipped the whole second act. You were like, yeah, I don't even like second acts. It's just the part where it gets muddy. And I'm like, fair, but fine. Wait. I don't know what to say about this because that's literally what this movie is. It's like, what if we cut out all the boring second act shit that actually does development that's like hard to earn as a movie?
Yeah,
that gives it depth.
Now hold on, Troy has something to say.
In 2018, you were saying that they didn't have the COVID excuse. That's what you're telling people.
That was my joke.
What did you know?
That was my joke.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even then.
And so, what did you know?
Do you know about? Do you call them fireflies or lightning bugs?
Did you say flyer flies?
I don't call them fireflies.
Fireflies.
I know for a fact.
Do you
I don't
call
them
fireflies, lightning bugs, or fireflies?
I've heard fireflies and lightning bugs.
I call them lightning
So
bugs.
listen, I've distracted you adequately. Go on.
Well, I have no further questions about you being involved with a
Why
global
would I be
pandemic.
talking about fireflies if I was involved in the pandemic?
He's got a
So-
point. I think he's got a good point.
Anyway,
what's
this movie is kind of a loosely related plot from like act to act, but the scenes within each act are enough to keep me interested and invested that I wasn't bored and I didn't hate what I was watching.
It was also a sweet hour and 30 minutes.
Yeah, again,
like
yeah,
a
it was
tight. Like there
was no filler content.
They hard cut a couple places.
If there's one word to describe this movie, it's tight.
It's very
tight. Very tight.
Definitely tighter than Carnage's like wingspan. Like where how he at one point I thought he was the size of a skyscraper with like the
Yeah, it
amount
was
of
weird.
excess, and I'm like, well, there's no way Venom can fight with this. Like this is ridiculous.
And that was something that I didn't know about Venom's history because I didn't learn too much about it until I spoke with a friend of the pod, John, yesterday after watching Venom. But apparently Venom, especially being like a black symbiote, he's considered one of the weakest on the chain of like the alien symbiotes. And Red is considered like the godly strong ones. And then you have like Blue, which is also incredibly powerful. And those are the two that he's fought so far.
Oh yeah, they were totally like, you know how you love these symbiotes? Like, you know how you love them and how like they're mysterious and whatever? Let's give them a whole backstory that will, I guess, jack you guys all off because the rest of us will be like, this ruins the character.
I was fine with it. I mean, it was...
No,
you know what?
I'm talking about the comics. I'm talking about
the comics.
Like whatever they have done with like the Space King of Venom, Carnage.
There's a Space King. You know what? Just don't.
There's like a Carnage Jesus type of character that's out there. That has infected the world and is like literally the most diabolical and greatest villain of the Marvel universe. Like
where
they
are
do
these
a
people
whole
when
thing.
Thanos
You mean
is around?
Disney?
Yeah. No, Thanos, not
I said
Thanos.
Thanos. Jesus
Not
Christ.
Thanos or whatever you think it's called. It's Thanos. And by the way, so we saw the Dune trailer. By the way, this is short.
So excited for that.
The Dune trailer. As soon as the little guy sees Batista, right? He's like, "Whoa, total Drax vibes." I'm like, "That's the actor that plays Drax." And then like suddenly we get Zendaya, and I'm like, "Did she give you MJ vibes?"
Yeah.
And then it was like, "Oh, does that give you Moon Knight vibes? Oh, crap, does that give you Aquaman vibes? Oh my gosh, does that give you?"
Who is the Aquaman actor?
What
What was his name again?
Are you going to be able?
So forgettable.
Are you going to be able
Yeah.
to stomach that movie?
Soon?
Moma.
Jason Momoa.
Mimosa, yeah.
Jason
I do love
Mimosa.
Mimosa.
Jason Mimosa. That's it. I got it.
Totally.
He sucks,
And then who else? Who else is in that movie?
Was you watching the trailer just shitting on your son for a
Just
good like
shit-
4 minutes?
Yeah, I sat next to
there
him.
was like,
yes.
Did he give you? And then Josh Brolin shows up, and I'm like, did he give you Thanos vibes?
Thanos?
Because I said it like you.
Perfect.
Anyway, sidebar over.
Sidebar over. So as I was saying, the acts are kind of loosely strung together, but the scenes within them are very well constructed. Like it begins with Venom and Eddie fighting, but like not really fighting until they do actually fight. It becomes like a fist fight in giant quotes because Venom's obviously super strong and Eddie is not. And he kicks Eddie's fucking ass and throws his TV out a window. And I was like, that's really funny. That's actually really good. But like, why are they fighting? There's no need for this. I didn't understand the.
Well, this was a romantic comedy. Like the premise.
You
of the
know
movie,
what? That's a really. Wow, that fits.
That's what people were saying about
gosh.
the first one.
This is already all over the internet. Just seen it, like the entire.
I told you I refused
franchise.
to even look it up.
But the first one too, like it's about the first one. Like, it's actually a romantic comedy. It's very it's an intriguing way that they do this. But the whole thing is clearly like literally when Cassidy sees Shriek and he breaks her out, right?
Yeah.
And we're way ahead, but like when he goes like, "Down, baby, don't be upset," but right, and the whole thing is that like they're not actually a perfect match because like this is his side. Carnage is Cassidy's side girl that is like his new girl, and he's like, baby, don't be upset, like I got this, and then she's like, yo, what the fuck. Whereas like Venom and Brock are
they're one.
They're together.
They're
they are Venom. And like they're right. Like this is in the text. Like the people have like researched.
I didn't study
the Venom like Marvel stuff, and it's like no, like there's a lot of lines that indicate that like Eddie's like, you've given me more than any girl ever could. Like there's been this expression of the fact that like the symbiotic relationship has been amplified. That's all it really is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But you can read that's the reason that I think the series works on multiple levels is beyond its imagery and all the surface stuff. It actually does have like bones in terms of like what they talk about, like symbiotic relationships, and it does have a subtext of storytelling to deal with like, you know, toxic relationships, which is literally like it's so fucking on the nose.
Oh, absolutely.
Like you're literally toxic. Like there's actually I think a character
I think
that's
there's
like
a
another
toxin.
There's like a toxin like, and then I think we were joking before the podcast that like the Venom fan base is probably like the toxic fan base of every other fan base. Like because they probably travel well, they probably have good like genre instincts. Right, but it's all surface level.
That's
yeah. Take that. However you will.
There's somebody who
people.
clicked on this podcast, seeing the title Venom, was like, "Oh, I love Venom. I'm gonna listen to this." What the fuck?
Did that guy just take a shit on our fan base?
Listen,
As opposed to the rest of our
if you
fucking
have to
podcast.
ask, then I did my job because I'm not saying you're a bad person, but I'm saying these are not good vibes to
But Chris
continue
is.
down. It's cool to like Venom, but move on eventually, like soon. Maybe not soon. Like
the movie just came
when you're
out.
ready.
Give them some
when
time.
you're ready. Move on from Venom. Okay,
Chris.
Venom,
to be clear, Chris does think you're a bad person.
No person you're very invested in as a life partner, whether that be male or female
Or symbiote.
Or anything in
or
between.
symbiote, wants toxic. No one wants a Venom. No one's like, really, Venom. and if they do, that is a sign that you're in a venomous relationship. That's kind of the point of the franchise. So just so you know, make it seem cool now, not cool later.
Thank you for this relationship advice, Dr. Phil.
I
We will all take
didn't
it hard.
learn anything.
Call me Dr. D.
I learned nothing from that.
I think Dr. Doom might have Dr. D like tattooed on his chest somewhere.
Who said that? Who compared the two of us?
You said Dr. D, and my
Yeah,
first thought
I
was
mean,
Dr.
but
Doom.
why would you even
What
like
does
think
the
about
D
me
stand
being
for?
Dr. Doom? It doesn't matter.
Hey, what's the?
It doesn't just move on with the podcast.
We cover this.
Do you
It
have a
stands for
doctorate?
douchebag.
Do you have a doctorate?
Yes.
In?
You know, like adaptability.
I don't know what I expected.
Now I'm just wondering if you can get a doctorate in Doom. What is the Doom courses
Oh
like?
my god. What has become of my passion project?
I don't know, Jeff.
So,
Wow.
Eddie Brock and Venom
Yeah.
are at their wits' end. They're fighting with each other. Anne gets engaged to Dr. Dan from the previous movie, and he's
Not to be
great.
confused with Doctor Doom.
Oh, he was my big hope for like wearing himself thin, and I'm like, oh man, there was no extra scene with Dan.
No.
Like there was not a single extra scene with Dan. I was like, oh, I didn't even want to see his face again. Like I didn't even see his face again.
If I got any more Dan, I was
literally-
going to storm out of the theater.
I was like, Jesus, Andy Serkis, like you are editing like a gem, or you hired the best editor to like do this because I would have pulled out like a frame.
Oh, yeah.
A frame of Dan Moore, I'd be done. And they were just like, nah, maybe
This is
maybe
the perfect amount.
Maybe a passing reference.
I think we can all agree with that.
Yeah. Too much Dan is never a good thing.
never.
And he edited it perfectly. There was not a single drop more Dan than I wanted of that punchable Doctor's stupid face, which gets punched a few times. Venom
Wait,
punches
who's
him.
Dr. Stupid Face?
Yeah, I only saw Dan.
There's too many doctors.
There's too many fucking doctors. So they're fighting. Anne gets engaged, and then all of a sudden, Cletus is in jail, and he wants to talk to Eddie Brock. He will only talk to Eddie Brock, and it's at first a mystery why, and then he says in the end, "I wanted to be your friend." Boo, fucking who? Get lost. And he says, I'll tell you where the bodies are if you release my message to the public. And it's some fucking mysterious nonsense that doesn't really mean anything. I didn't know what that was, but Venom managed to put together like some drawings on his prison walls to find where the bodies are buried, and that sealed Cletus's death penalty case. And now it's like, all right, cool, you're going to the chair.
Did they change Eddie's motorcycle from?
They did.
They did, right?
My assumption was that
he made money. He
my
made
assumption
money
was he
after
made
the
money
thing, yeah.
because he went from riding the previous bike, which I can't remember off the top of my head.
Andy Serkis does a good job of telling the underlying story with the visuals. Like
Yes.
like there's a very good. I'm not lying when I say like this is a tight film. There's not a lot to work with, and it is amazingly tight. And I have to say that I am a proponent of these types of films, like Freddy versus Jason,
Oh yeah.
where it's like, oh no, you did everything that you could with this content, and you put it together, and you did it, and you done did it.
You didn't try to
Like-
make this out to be more than it is.
And Andy Serkis has the back end benefit of spoilers, like the Marvel connection at the end of this.
There was a
Yes.
whole lot of people watching this movie and being like, okay, that was kind of funny. And then the entire theater erupted when the movie was over.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
really did. Jeffrey included.
Oh,
Jeffy
I
was
was-
all Jeffy.
Which surprised me. I heard your voice and I was like, Jeff even cares about this shit.
I screamed. I was so fucking
you
excited.
didn't expect it at all, huh?
No, I didn't expect it at all.
Wow.
I expected there might be like a hint of like maybe something's gonna happen, but they straight up just said, "Nah, it's happened," and I'm just like, "Whoa!" But we'll get there when we get there.
Yeah.
So Cletus ends up biting Eddie when he comes back, getting the symbiotic blood inside him, and that births Carnage, and Carnage just starts growing inside of him, and that leads to him being able to break out of the death penalty gurney that he was strapped in.
I believe that's called staying your execution.
Yeah, it was the stay of execution.
Stay of is that no? But
Well, no,
but
he
like,
left.
He did leave, yeah.
But this is the thing is like I heard this phrasing as the previews came out. Like it looks like he stays his execution, and I'm like, is that a thing? Like is there already a phrase for stay? Like there must be, right?
Yeah.
Because people have survived the hanging or survived the
It's called a stay of execution.
you stay of execution. Like I feel like they shouldn't do it again. They shouldn't fit like you win. Like that's your trial by combat.
We tried to kill you.
I fought the electricity. I fucking won. God says no.
God said take him back.
I don't even believe in God, but fuck it. I got to swear on Bibles and shit to like do anything in
This country.
So whatever. You actually don't. That's a lie.
But Cletus breaking out of prison might have been the best scene of Act 1, and I think that is kind of the end cap of Act 1.
I think most of the Carnage action scenes are kind of the things that got me through a lot of it.
Yeah.
He goes full Carnage. All the tendrils are there. The teeth are there. He's like eating cops.
you like this?
He does like a tornado thing.
This is what
The tornado
this is-
thing is weird.
The tornado thing was ridiculous.
that was ridiculous.
But I appreciate Andy Serkis doing this again because I'm just like, yeah, no, you're right. They will eat this shit up. They are dumb. The people that
Hey
like
now.
the people that like Carnage fucking shit up.
It's just fun to see him fuck shit up.
It's cartoon red randomly hitting stuff, and you're like, yay, it did it. It's
Listen,
like,
hey,
it's
listen,
like
I
it's
agree
like
with you.
American hentai.
Listen,
It's pronounced hentai, you please.
Oh my gosh. How much every time you correct me on that just digs you deeper.
listen,
I just love correcting you.
I agree with you, but also I wasn't expecting
You're
more.
very aroused. I get it.
It's the only
So that's
sexual
what gets you
attraction
going.
you get.
Nah, not really.
You
No,
were like
there's-
sex porn, nah, but Carnage.
No.
Actual
Red-
Carnage.
Red tie.
Now, out of a lot of the, it's pronounced red tay,
Car tie.
Red tape.
but
Red
Oh my god.
So you really didn't like
Then
the
work,
Carnage prison
then
scene?
work in government if you would like red tape.
But like
Good.
Carnage fucking up shit in the prison and murdering people. And
it's just cartoon nonsense. All the Venom stuff looks horrible. I'm sorry. If you you're having literally him stretch out the head. Like, this is such a dumb. It's dumb. It's very dumb. They're trying to make it okay. It's not okay. It's dumb. It's really dumb. They're like, we're going to stretch out the head. And it just patches come out. Like, it's so badly rendered. I'm not a fan. Like, it's not cool looking. It's real,
I enjoyed it.
Real cool here.
I also enjoyed it, Jeff.
Thank you.
It's a little weak on my end. I don't know.
Troy, how'd you feel about it? Because
I'm glad we disagree.
what D is talking about is sometimes, and they did this in the first Venom like once or twice, where Eddie will be there, and then Venom will like come out of his back, and it'll be like the head of Venom talking to the head of Eddie. I will agree. D has a point where that like it seems unnecessary if you're in his head, but like maybe sometimes you just want to have that face to face. I can't say. I don't have a symbiote living inside me.
Or do you?
Wait. Speaking of symbiote, did they changed the pronunciation for the first movie?
I believe
Yes,
that they say it
'cause
right this time.
John and I streamed it last night, and they said symbiote and symbiotic the whole time. And I remember the trailers. They said symbiote, and I was like, oh, they must have redubbed it when they released the movie.
Oh, so they haven't
corrected
had
themselves.
they haven't had a full spectrum of what they're doing since the beginning. Who'd have thought? Like, I'm just saying, like, it's just symbiotes. Good job.
For a guy who started this podcast saying you liked it, you sure are taking a big old dump on it.
Is this how I was during
listen,
White
it's-
Last Man?
I said the director did an amazing job of only giving me enough to make me watch it to the end. Like, and I still stepped out for a pee.
I didn't even notice that. That's funny.
I'm like a ninja.
But to my answer is, I think that it didn't look that bad to me. The concept of it is pretty dumb, but I think that we're grading on a curve on this movie in general.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, this is definitely the Trump of movies.
Because it's red?
I
Because it's
need,
graded on a curve.
Boy.
but
Whew.
whenever he's Venom, like full body Venom, he's very shiny. He's
It
very
seems-
glossy.
Yeah, I feel like it was a little less glossy in the
By
previous
glossy,
film.
do you mean obviously CGI and cartoony? Because that would be what I said.
I don't know if this
If
movie.
that's what it means.
You're really putting me on the spot, and I can't find a whole lot of reasons to disagree with you.
It's
But
cheesy as fuck looking. It's silly, and it's like, okay. It's like, yes, my 9-year-old son should totally fucking love this.
and that's
He
the
should
way
be
I'm
so
going into
fucking
this movie.
psyched. Pete,
It's like the same reason I enjoyed He-Man. He-Man's better, but I think
under 13 guidance to suggest it. I guided him through the entire movie. Did I not? Did I not? Okay.
I guess you got a point
He
there.
was so psyched to see these things. Only Jeff was more ecstatic at any point in this movie.
yes, because you said 9-year-old and Jeff's 8.
Fair. That's
When I
fair.
go to see a comic book movie, I put myself in the frame of this is a comic book movie. I
He is
suspend
wearing-
all disbelief and I just let myself enjoy the movie.
All right,
he is
there
wearing
is
a
one
Baltimore Ravens jersey.
There
so-
is one disbelief I can't suspend. In both movies, this is both movies. Does nobody own a fucking camera? There's no cameras in that prison. They're like, I don't know how he broke out of prison. There's 900 witnesses.
People
Yeah.
are people are talking about monsters though.
Yeah.
Yeah, people aren't talking about Carnage.
Oh, speaking of, that is my favorite. I think this has to. I think this whole movie and all of my like of it has to do with Claw from Black Panther.
Andy Serkis.
Andy Serkis. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I can't remember his name.
People are gonna watch this thinking that like he's in this movie as Claw.
He did this great. Like there is nothing that like he cuts everything that I don't want, and it's great.
You've made that clear, yes.
No, but now
This is what, the seventh time?
Go on. Go. No, I meant to get somewhere else.
Jeff, you're
with
gonna
it.
have to
Go
cut
ahead.
it. You're
go
gonna have
ahead.
to Andy Serkis
You go
him out
ahead
of
with
this.
your point. I'm gonna step out and pee.
Okay. That's wonderful. You, anyway, but while Cletus is breaking out of prison, Eddie, Brock, and Venom are having
And there's no security footage. And
There's no
anywhere
security
in
footage.
this.
You know what? I will give you that because there's also like a scene where Eddie's being detained in the police department, and he breaks through the wall, and I'm just like, okay, it's a police department. You can't tell me they don't have fucking
That's what I'm
CCTV.
saying.
And he like even covers up his own mouth to hide him mouthing the word alien.
or Venom, yeah,
Or Venom, or Symbiote.
and it's just like, well, come on now, like you clearly know you're
maybe
being
that's
watched.
maybe that's part of the stuff that you cut out.
Yeah, maybe, but you definitely have a big point with the prison stuff. Like, there absolutely should have been some CCTV footage of Carnage fucking shit up.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, they're like, I don't know how he broke out of prison. There's a giant wall in the side of the building. There's a giant hole in the wall. Sorry, yeah.
Walls are typically found on the side of the building.
you be quiet.
what a great poignant point there,
No,
choice.
but there's a gaping hole on the side of the building. Like,
yeah, I know.
you'd be like, oh, that's how he got out. Probably.
Yeah, it wasn't.
There's 900 people without heads.
Yeah,
There was a guy who got tongued like really hard.
Yeah, he said, "Please, I have a family," and instead of eating him, he just shoved his tongue down his throat, and then he just like collapsed dead. I guess that was really weird.
Maybe he sucked out his brain.
Maybe, I don't know. It was really weird. Kind of got off on it. No, I'm kidding.
Okay.
I'm kidding. No, but Cletus breaking out of prison, I enjoy the action of it, but you do have a good point that there should have been some camera footage. There should have been something. That maybe the detective whose name was Mulligan, right?
Nah, couldn't fucking tell you.
So the detective Mulligan, I believe that was his fucking name, which hilarious if true. He could have just shown him, like pulled out the iPad and just been like, here you go, this is footage of Cletus breaking out of prison. Know anything about that? And Brock would have put 2 and 2 together so much faster than Act 2 of the movie.
And then they could have had more stuff that Dee didn't care about.
Absolutely, but he's not here right now, so we can shit on him a little bit.
Oh, God damn it. Here he is.
No, shit, quick, he's getting back to his mate. Shit on him. He sucks.
D sucks so much.
D-bag.
Oh,
There we
God,
go.
he's getting the fireball.
He's getting more fireball. We're in trouble. No, but it was kind of ridiculous that there are no camera footage. And then Eddie Brock fighting with Venom, that was like ridiculous. He's in the apartment fighting with Venom. Venom's throwing his stuff out the window, saying, "Get out." And Eddie's like, "It's my fucking house. What do you mean, get out?" And it's literally like a husband and wife fighting. And it was absolutely bonkers. I enjoyed it from like a silly standpoint, but D, if he had a point to make here, would probably be like, that was silly and unneeded. And I'd be like,
But
well,
at
maybe.
the same time with the camera footage stuff, immediately I was like, there's no cameras anywhere, and then immediately I was like, oh yeah, it's Venom. Like the grading on the curve thing, I was like, yeah. I don't care.
No, the point I was trying to make was that
We're back on that? Okay.
was just that the cop who was the detective?
I believe his name was Mulligan.
Is it really?
I know. I was saying that while you were in the bathroom.
Which was the alternate title for this movie.
Mulligan.
I believe his name really is.
This
Mulligan.
was almost Venom 2 Mulligan.
Venom 2.
No, Venom 2.
Venom 2,
Let there be a mulligan.
Let there be Mulligan.
Yeah, his name is Mulligan. Yeah.
Okay. So, can you, while you're doing this, look up who is he? Who is he? He's Toxin. Okay, I figured. Great.
Detective Mulligan becomes Toxin. That was what the blue eyes were supposed to be.
This segues into my what this fan base is perfectly. No, but like this guy. No, I loved it. This guy. If everyone else noticed how short in stature he is, right?
Yeah.
He's like my height. At best.
Yeah,
right?
and said something like that little guy is kind of weird, right?
I appreciated that out of like the fuck. Like that was great. Like no one hires actors. Like, and he was great. I thought it was Mark Wahlberg for a little bit. I thought it was I was like, yo, he's pretty good. Say hi to your mother for me. Like he was good.
What are we doing here? There's a Venom. There's a Carnage.
What are you saying? There's like 2 of them. Are the 2 of them?
2 aliens?
Fuck you motherfucker. Fuck you, and fuck your
I
mother.
thought I killed that woman. I thought I shot her on the head.
So
What do you mean she's alive?
Oh, hi, Venom.
That's a different mark.
Different mark, I know.
Different mark. Oh, hi, Mark. So yeah, but like no, this like I appreciated every single. I was like, no, look, he's as tall as the main actress. Like,
You know what that means, though?
like what?
If he becomes Toxin in another movie, he's gonna turn alien and he's gonna get real big.
He's gonna get really big.
Yeah.
Because he's insecure and he's overcompensating.
Oh, he's gonna be
wonder-
the tallest one.
I wonder if his Venom will have truck nuts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, to compensate.
Oh, I see what you're saying. That's
Yeah, I see.
funny.
He'll
That's
have a
funny.
Silverado.
You're hilarious, D. You're really funny.
Like those
you
big
get
wheels.
your Type 5 in, right?
There's
now.
like
Come on.
big wheels that extend out the side.
Well, if you're giving me the 5.
What are you talking about, Type 5? You started a podcast. What the fuck do you
It
mean?
means I get a tight hour every week.
This is for D.
Thank you. That
So
last guy, thank you,
airline
man.
food.
So anyway, yeah, this guy. No, but I did appreciate him. I thought he was good in the role. I thought there was no problem with him being this. Like you can have people of varying heights in any role. Tom Holland is a great example.
Yeah.
Like that being said, like it's just
Although
everybody
in
can
Tom
be whatever
Holland's
role.
case, they make him out to be a teenager.
It's true. It's true. If you're a teenager, you're clearly smaller and just haven't grown to like adult height yet, right?
Right,
That-
and then you
that's how
realize
the
he's
world
like
works.
26.
Right. This is the thing. Is like, I'd much rather they not try to visually tell me age in an inaccurate way. And I like the fact anytime you have an actor that's like that literally wouldn't get a chance anywhere else. Like I do believe this is like an Andy Serkis choice, like or whoever their casting person was, but like they did they hire him.
Is he in the first one?
No, and he's in. I don't think so. And he's in a, assumingly multi-movie role, or a continuous role, and
Or he'll be like that guy at the end of The Incredible Hulk. who
Andy
gets
Serkis
stuff
isn't
on
large either, to my understanding, and it's another reason why he isn't in cinema as much as Andy Serkis, right? Like he's
Well, he's
not-
in it a lot, but he's never in it. He's
Like,
always
he
CGI.
clearly had to do jacked steroid drugs to get Black Panther. Anyway,
None of
whatever
that.
you guys were talking about, this
Yeah.
fight scene between the two of them, silly. It was fine. It was quick.
I know. I knew you were gonna say it was silly and stuff, and that's all it needed to be. It was just a silly, fun thing, like, oh, they're fighting, they can't get along, and then later, Dr. Dan has a throwaway comment where he's like, "Those two seriously need couple counseling," and I was like, okay, that's actually really funny.
Because it's a romantic comedy. The entire movie
Yeah.
is that. You get that. Like, it's an entirely that. Like, it's literally the parallels.
They're
of
on a
that, like,
beach together at the
that
end.
His main,
I know.
literally.
Staring
in
off
a
at the sunset.
Like, nice. Yes. So, no, but they have that exact thing. Like the parallel, the villain has a parallel of, like, his symbiote. He's not that's literally the climax of the movie, is he's like, they're not a match. We can get out of this.
That's a pretty good Venom. I mean, it's the
That's-
easiest
I'm
voice in the
doing
world
nothing.
to do.
That's
Yeah?
how little acting he was doing.
Fuck.
Thanks. Yeah, it's whatever. But then Venom goes off on his own. He takes over a bunch of people, goes to a rave, does like a speech on stage about how he's coming out of the Eddie Brock closet. And my buddy John, who was sitting next to me, we both agreed that was like one of the best parts of the whole movie. It was fucking hilarious. And then fucking Venom like ends up in Mrs. Chang's like fucking convenience store, like dying, and she takes him in. 'cause
This is my
whatever.
favorite part. Mrs. Chang is in my heart.
Mrs. Chang is absolutely like the runaway hero of this movie. Like
She's
fucking the taxi driver
the
from
most
Deadpool 1.
The most original part of this movie, because I know the role she's playing, but I haven't seen it before.
Yes, absolutely. It's absolutely incredible. And then Carnage.
You
after-
say that placating me as you move on.
What do you want? What do you want to fucking? Do you want us to clap?
I mean,
there it is.
I do
I'm
feel
coming
better
in.
now.
I'm
I do
coming.
feel- Oh,
There. There's,
ooh,
there's the audience laughing.
yeah, you're right.
I
No,
feel
it's
like I'm
good.
You're
coming
so
very-
funny.
No, I really like
Oh my
that.
god.
Nah, it feels good.
I feel like I'm coming very aggressive at people, and I don't mean to. I apologize.
No, up the aggression.
Yeah, you know what? You're
I
right.
bring
Fuck
that
you,
one.
Chris.
I bring that out in people.
Yeah, fuck me, Chris. Wait.
Anywho, so back to the point. Brock gets taken in by Detective Mulligan, and he's just like, "Yo, what do you know about this? Because every time something weird happens, you're always there, or you're related. I need to know what the fuck's going on."
And I'm about to give you, puts glasses on, a mulligan.
that would have
You're so funny.
that would have been something. No, but Brock's just like, "I need my phone call," and he
I'll
calls
be a
Ann.
punchline in Philadelphia.
Yeah, right. Brock calls Anne, and he tells Anne, like, "Listen, Cassidy broke out of prison. He's got a symbiote in him, and we gotta stop him. And I need Venom back. You gotta go find Venom."
and she said it correctly. That was the moment where they were like, "Oh." They said it correctly.
I think they should have found a way to say it even worse.
Yeah. I also find it really, really awesome that like Mrs. Chang knows Venom and is familiar with him and knows that he loves chocolate and stuff, and that was like pretty funny to me.
It was so sweet.
It was adorable.
That was the most human part of the movie when she.
when he walks in and he's like, "Hi, Mrs. Chang," and she says, "Hi, Eddie. Hi, Venom," and a little tendril comes out and waves hi.
No, not that at all. Like
No.
later
No,
in
when
the
she's
movie.
cradling the dying
When she's
Venom.
cradling the dying Venom,
I heard
and she's
you-
like,
I
"Baby,"
heard
and
you
I'm
go,
like,
"Aw."
"I don't even know what to think of this." Like, I don't even know. Like that guy's dead.
Yeah, that guy's
Oh,
real
she
dead.
only.
Yeah, they
cares-
really
I
do
don't know.
gloss over.
I don't know what she gloss over. What you mean is not wasting my fucking time with that telling that fucking story.
Oh my
I
God.
didn't give a shit about that.
Jesus Christ, Troy. Never seen you laugh so hard before.
He's so aggressive.
That's what happens when he has a double shot during the movie and continues drinking when we get back to my place. But yeah, so Anne goes to find Venom. First place she goes is Mrs. Chang's store, and she has a conversation with Venom, which Venom refuses to go until Eddie apologizes. Until Anne like flirts with him to get him to agree, which I thought was like really funny. This movie is actually really really funny. At its absolute core, and Venom
For
Venom,
Gen Zers.
Sure, you jaded older millennial.
Not every
mean-
movie's made for you, D.
I mean, listen.
I get it.
He's
I'm aging out.
We got a boomer.
I'm acknowledging it because I'm acknowledging it. Like,
Yeah, I know.
That's a lot of damage.
I'm saying it's successful in what it should be.
I mean, I will say. I mean,
Stop it. Get some help.
I mean, I will say he's kind of right because like there's a joke in there where he's on the phone with Anne and he's hanging off the side of a building and she's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" He's like, you know,
Just hanging around.
hanging around," and I'm just like, "Come on." I was like, the entire time he's hanging there, I'm like, "Don't do
As
it."
soon as she said, "What are you doing?" I was like, "They're gonna say it."
As soon as
Yep.
he picked up the phone, I was like, "Don't, please don't do it."
Yeah, it's awesome. It's also really, really adorable to me how much Venom really loves Anne and like really cares about her.
I mean, he's been inside her.
Ugh, don't make it weird. But then eventually Anne does convince Venom to go with her to go save Eddie, and they get to the prison, and Venom is just in Anne, and instead of going to Eddie, he takes over Anne and busts Eddie through the wall, and she's just carrying
So
Eddie
you're
as they
saying is
jump
that
across
if you've been
rooftops.
inside someone before, you can
Oh, God.
you can use them at your leisure. If
Let's move on.
If
We gotta
necessary?
keep going.
No,
Just
we're
move
not.
past this.
Is
Put
that
our
what I'm-
heads down. Go through the crowd. Push
All
people
right.
out of the way.
Like, I got the wrong lesson. From this.
You certainly did, I think. But eventually she saves him. There's like a half-assed apology from Eddie to Venom, and then Venom like goes back to Eddie, and that's when Dan has the throwaway comment about couples counseling, and he instructs the two of them to pack their things and just leave town because he knows that Cassidy's gonna be looking for him. Meanwhile, Cassidy breaks his girlfriend out of Ravencroft Asylum or government compound or something where they have not mutants but people that have mutant abilities because they can't say the M word in this because it's a Sony picture. And he breaks his girlfriend Shriek out of prison, and they're planning their big red wedding. Get it? Because Carnage.
I don't get
Oh,
it.
because they're going to go to Game of Thrones.
They
Exactly, good
literally
job.
said that. It was weird.
Carnage literally said it'll be a red wedding, and I was like, "Oh, you didn't need to say it.
They're
We're
going
all
to kill
thinking it."
Joffrey?
Yeah, they're gonna kill.
Well, I mean,
they're
to
gonna
be fair,
kill all the Starks.
To be fair to him, it was really original because he's been in jail for a long time, so he didn't watch any Game of Thrones, so he doesn't even
You know what?
they're
That's a
doing.
good
And Carnage was literally born yesterday.
That's a great point. You know what?
Shriek didn't correct him because she was also in prison.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
very true. But they escape from the asylum or whatever the fuck it is, some government compound, and they're planning their wedding, and they all want their special guests. And she wants the cop that shot her, which is Mulligan from years ago. He wants Eddie, and and Carnage wants Venom. And they all want to take their revenge on people. Shriek is her name in the comics. I can't remember her real name. It was Frances.
They did call her
Barrington.
Shriek at one point.
Did they?
Yeah.
Okay, well, Shriek, because she has the Black Canary power of being able to scream and it'll burst eardrums or whatever. And fucking Carnage hates that, of course, right? And of course he does. The
Am I
symbiotes,
right?
The symbiotes hate
Ladies?
sounds between 4,000 to 6,000 kilohertz, as explained in Venom 1. Troy.
Yeah, like a classic toxic,
didn't-
like a classic toxic male. Carnage hates it when they talk.
Oh, you know what? There might be something there. I don't know. There might be something there. But they're planning their wedding, and Frances kidnaps.
And what color was the wedding again? Just out of curiosity.
Crimson.
Crimson. Okay.
It was it was a
Sanguine.
darkish pink.
Uh-huh.
But she kidnaps Anne and instructs Dan to tell Brock to go to the wedding, or he'll never see Anne again. Which, I mean, that's the best killing two birds with one stone right there. Because you're never going to capture Eddie, so just tell him I've got your girl and meet me at the chapel. So of course he'll go. He ends up going, and they have the cop, they have Anne, and fucking Venom. The best scene from the trailers is probably when Eddie is having this conversation with Venom in the chapel, and Venom's trying to puss out, and Eddie's like, "No, we have to go." And he's like, "I'll let you eat all the people." And he's like, "Promise?" And he's like, "Yes." And then he just turns into Venom, and that was great. I enjoyed that part of the movie quite a bit.
D, how did you hate that part of the movie? Oh, he's texting.
He's texting. But yeah, it's
This podcast has gone on 10 frames too long.
We need Andy Serkis to edit our podcast.
Yeah.
Jeff, Andy Serkis, the podcast.
I will do my best. But
Circus it.
they have the big fight in the chapel, which Venom is scared because it's a red symbiote, and red symbiotes are very powerful, as I explained earlier in the podcast, and black ones are considered lower on the tier of power, which, I mean, sure, go for it. And it's just it's a really, I enjoyed the fight. I'm sure D would say there's a lot more CGI than necessary.
It's a better fight than the first one where it's two gray blobs.
The first movie, I had a little bit of difficulty because it was like one black and one like slightly
Dark
lighter black.
gray.
Yeah, it wasn't blue like it should have been. But
to be fair, I just said that it was a gray blob fighting a black blob. This is a red blob fighting a black blob.
yeah,
But it's like a little bit, there's like more to it. There's like a scene in the first one where they like meld together and there's like no form. They at least like punch each other in this and fall over.
yeah. There is a lot more like physical contact between the two in this fight, and there's a lot more like puncturing. Like there's a lot more stabbing and slicing of things, and it's revealed like Carnage is incredibly powerful, and it appears that the tendrily thing that he can do is unique to him. I think. Is that a Carnage power, or is that just every symbiote? Because Venom never does shit like that, right?
It's
Or
a little.
he does, but
it's a little odd.
more controlled.
It's a little odd. So comic wise, right? Like, of course, the symbiote bonds with Spider-Man first and adapts his powers, right? And then Eddie Brock is the only reason the symbiote has the look and kind of feel like its general demeanor is the way it is because it bound up with Spider-Man first.
Right.
So when it would shoot webs, right? But
I remember that from the
the
video
webs
games.
were not. He didn't have web shooters. It manifested those webs as part of itself. So you could think of them as tendrils as part of it. So like the original Venom, when they kind of did it, was like, oh, those are just part of himself. Like he's basically Spider-Man plus the symbiote plus the fact that in the comics, Eddie Brock is like an Olympic level weightlifter.
Yeah, he's fucking huge.
And that's why what's his face?
Topher Grace,
No.
Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy is like liked as a version of this because he's a jacked dude. Like he's supposed to be fucking
in contrast
jacked.
to the original Venom in Spider-Man
Which is
3,
Topher Grace,
which was
like
Yeah.
he was 100% right for the modernization, and I stand to this day that like if Topher Grace was done by Kevin Feige and under the Marvel Cinematic Universe version, it would have worked fine because he literally is like the modern version of it. Like he's not supposed to be like.
You think like people would start drawing him different in comic books where
Yes,
he looks more like
I think
Topher
people
Grace?
would have adapted to that because I think they would have liked. But part of Venom is, but like I said, like maybe not. I don't want to say that actually because so much of Venom is made by Todd McFarlane, who was like, I'm gonna make a demon Spider-Man.
Right.
And he's supposed to be like a jacked version of it. And it was like, how do we create that character? And it was like, okay, so there's another journalist, and he's like, just a dude who bodybuilds on the side doing steroids. And like, and eventually he gets the symbiote. And it's just like this, it's just this mirror, funhouse mirror version of Spider-Man.
Right.
That's like super jacked. And like, so that's why he's stronger. And it is because Eddie Brock is stronger. So
Right.
like the idea is that like the spider enhances the spider, like the Venom thing enhances what is already enhanced.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it's like they do a good job, I think, with like how they do it. So I think all that's fine.
Yeah, and it's not. Yeah, I don't know what the word. I had a thought and then it ran away. I don't know what it was, but I like Tom Hardy as Venom. It's a very good choice. And I
If you were Andy Serkis, you'd be like, "Fuck it, let's go. Let's move on to the next scene."
Perfect. Next scene. They're fighting in the church, and the fight just keeps escalating. And then it's very, very obvious that Carnage hates Shriek, especially because her natural power will kill him. And Carnage starts taking issue with that. And then inside Carnage, you have Cletus, who takes issue with that issue because he loves Shriek. So it's very, very obvious it's a very dysfunctional relationship, which, I mean, they had to set up something as a way to kill Carnage because it's very clear Venom can't beat him on his own. So I was less than thrilled that she turned against Carnage. I felt like it would have been better if Venom had found a way to beat him on his own. But whatever, fine. Let her turn against her man and kill Carnage. That's fine, I guess. Whatever. But it doesn't matter. The fight ends ultimately the best way it could with Venom eating the Carnage symbiote. And then he's holding fucking Cletus as Cletus is trying to give this dramatic ending speech, and Venom just says "fuck this guy" and eats his head. That was the best fucking period of the sentence. It was perfect, absolutely perfect.
That's a perfect F-bomb.
Perfect F-bomb in the PG-13 movie.
It really was. It really was. Oh, can I backtrack 1 second? I did want to make mention of the fact that when Carnage or when Cletus contacts him via letter, right? And they do the little flashback of him writing the letter. They do the classic
oh yeah,
they do the little animation.
They kill the spider
mm-hmm.
on the thing, and the line that he's saying while he says it is clearly a call out.
Yeah, he says
Spider-Man.
Every hero has an origin story.
Everyone has an origin story.
Everyone has an origin story.
And he crushes the spider. And this is what I want to draw back to, because this is at the ending, right? What is Venom saying to Eddie at the end? What exactly does that mean? So I just wanted to make sure that we address that.
Right, we will address that, yeah. And then the ending is probably the majority of the latter half of this podcast, which is why I wanted to speed through the movie as much as I could. But the church fight ends as well as it could. Venom and Eddie say goodbye to Ann and Dan. Ann and Dan, wow. I just put that together. I hate it.
I hated it the entire time.
I heard about halfway through the movie and was like, huh.
I hate that. But Venom is now very happy for Dan and Ann, and he's great.
Dan covers both of them.
Yeah, just DANN. Dan.
I hate you.
And their cousin Fran.
Don't.
Fran Drescher?
Yes.
Dude, I wish. I love Fran Drescher. But they go away, and it's kind of like happily ever after. They end up on a beach because Venom has this throwaway line earlier where he says he wants to feel the wind in his hair.
And because it's a rom-com.
And because it's a rom-com, exactly.
Oh, no.
And also because they're on the run.
Their comic company was founded by a guy named Stan.
Oh, Jesus. Which reminds me, there was a Stan Lee cameo in the first Venom.
X-Files.
X-Files?
Well, he was
Yeah. Yeah, perfect. And they end up on the beach, and they're having this little heart-to-heart, and Venom literally says he loves Eddie, and I'm just that's a little too much right now, but okay, I guess. Go for it.
I really thought it was weird when they kissed.
Yeah, that was weird, and Venom put so much tongue into it, obviously.
Well, he's all tongue.
Yeah, that's pretty much the end of the movie. And Eddie says that we can go anywhere because they're going to leave San Francisco. And they're going to start over someplace new. And he says we'll go to any city that needs a lethal hero. Or
lethal protector.
Lethal protector, that's what he says.
Oh, now I get it.
Oh, my gosh. Lethal the first miniseries that the comic books have of Venom is called Venom Lethal Protector. And that's the subtitle of it. And literally midway through the movie, I literally stopped over to you. I was like, did you hear... Because the female also told me that
Your wife, for those who are new.
she could not understand what the hell Venom was saying half the time. She needed subtitles for most of Venom's dialogue.
I got to admit, I watched Venom with subtitles when I streamed it yesterday, and then in the movie theater today, I was like, I could use some subtitles for Venom.
# normalized subtitles.
I love subtitles. I watch them with
so
everything.
Much better. I was so disappointed.
I'm growing much more accustomed to them. I used to be very anti-subtitles, but now
you know what?
Troy, how do you feel about subtitles?
I don't care either way. If
there's a lot of deaf people that
loser.
would really like you to normalize subtitles.
I understand that. I'll do it. I don't care.
Yeah, you should not care whether or not there are subtitles or not. Is your official I'm just kidding.
I feel like I'm being very put on the spot.
You know what? You know what? You should just get with the program or just realize you're not part of it.
D shits on a lot of different people, but this is one hill that he's ready to die on, and I wasn't expecting that from him.
I'm not even arguing with him. He's arguing with me, but I'm not arguing.
Subtitles. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, cool.
I'll edit there.
The movie ends, and then we get to the end credits scene, which is probably what everybody on the internet's fucking talking about.
Yep.
So Venom and Eddie are sitting in bed watching a fucking Spanish telenovela, and Venom says the throwaway thing where it's like, it never would have worked because he hid his past. And Eddie's like, you don't hide anything from me, right? And he's like, I've got 65 billion years of a hive mind in my head. There's no way you could ever comprehend it. And Eddie says, try me. And Venom says, okay, are you ready, Eddie? And he says, yes. And then I assumed it would be like, oh, he's learning about other symbiotes. He's learning about space. He's learning about something.
But he seems to, what? How are you
but
going to put this?
Instead, the hotel room seems to just like shift, kind of Doctor Strange style, and everything transforms. And they go from being in
But
this...
Doctor Strange, he's an MCU.
He's
character.
the one in the preview.
Yeah, it's a preview for Spider-Man 3. But they go from this like shitty little hotel in the middle of nowhere to now they're in this very fancy hotel with like swans made out of towels on the bed.
On definitely not the same beach they just
Definitely
filmed
not
the
the
thing.
same beach. They're definitely in America now.
This is a
and on
sunnier
the TV,
beach.
on the TV, they see Peter Parker as Spider-Man.
No, first they see
J.
J. Jonah
Jameson.
Jameson.
They see J. Jonah Jameson
from
that's right.
Far From Home, which also, Jeffrey, you haven't seen.
Correct.
Because you're a bad podcaster.
I'm not a bad podcaster. I'm a bad Marvel fan because I don't love Marvel.
You should know it as a podcaster.
No. But they are firmly planted
Fine.
now in the Marvel universe. And Venom seems to be very interested in Peter Parker. And I'm very, very curious to see what happens there. And then it ends, of course, with the guy who's in the hotel room being like, dude, what are you doing in my room? And Tom Hardy laying there, he's like, I don't know. Like, he has no fucking...
I feel like, so people were cheering when, like, it shifted a little bit, and then they saw Peter Parker and they really cheered,
Yes.
and then that guy came out, and I feel like people also cheered as if he was a reveal.
No, it wasn't a cheer. It was more of a laugh.
Yeah, but I feel like some people were
No, some people were just registering Peter Parker.
Yeah, people were finally, like,
Okay.
like, the pieces were puzzling together.
I
It
just
was-
like to think that somebody was out there just being like, oh, okay, no, that's just
No,
another-
That's actually Galactus.
So this is again, I think, like this is a good post-credit scene. It does
Very
interesting
good.
things. It doesn't just kind of like give you a cameo and be like, there's your cameo. Like, it doesn't
Right.
just it kind of says like, what the fuck is going on?
It seems like that whole movie was like a prelude to this, and this is the real nugget that that matters.
Yeah.
Because now
Now they're a couple. Now Venom and Eddie are a couple.
Venom and Eddie are
they're
firmly
perfectly
matched.
And they gave the implication. What are you gonna say? Wait.
I was gonna say, they are now in the current Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Well, I was just gonna say like they're giving the implication that like he's met a Spider-Man before. Like there's the whole thing is like the reason that Venom looks the way he looks is because he first bonded with the Spider-Man and Peter Parker, and he adopted that look, and that's why Venom looks like the way he does when he takes over. Like that's why he has the same power. He's just a evil version of Spider-Man,
Right.
And the idea is that like that's the reason. So the whole thing was always like it's a little weird that he looks like Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
When he never met Spider-Man,
So obviously
what
he
they're-
must have met Spider-Man.
So what they're
But
seemingly
how?
saying, well, that's the
Well, you see,
big
Jeff,
question. Is
things
that
can
they're
happen
like,
off
he's
screen.
done a bunch of things in a millennia, and the way he said it, I really want to look at. Like, I want to see this. This is again where I want this fucking subtitles to say, like, what did he say exactly? He says,
a great
like,
question.
like I've lived many lives, or like you wouldn't be able to comprehend where I've been or how I've been. So like, is he talking about multiversal travel, dimensional travel? Like, is that what he's saying? Is that when they travel, they don't
Can the
differentiate between? Yeah,
Can
there's
the
a whole.
symbiote hive mind travel across the multiverses?
What do you do when you bend time and space? Like maybe you go to different dimensions anyway. Who the fuck knows? they're like basically liquid.
You've really engaged Chris's sci-fi radar all of a sudden.
No, like it can't like the symbiote does work on like a natural level. Like if you And this is where I feel like Marvel would do a better job telling that side of the story, where you would be like, oh no, we can explain it. It's somehow like sci-fi based. Like they have a thing. He's basically a liquid. He can, when he travels between worlds. Cool. I think you have a lot of ways to go. I also think they make these things vague so that they can get like months of speculation and be like, and then find the best like version to be like, yeah, we're gonna do that. Like that's the best version. But they have to create the groundwork for it to work, and I think this was like perfect. Like they clearly shifted the reality. He's no longer in his. This isn't like a memory he's seeing. This is like reality changed.
I think Venom even says like a what the hell kind of thing when it happens.
So the question becomes, why is that happening at the same time? And is it just like a whole? So I think this is just part of the multiverse of madness. You just get a nice little. We're gonna get like a nice little time period of like, hey, all these franchises are intercommingling because we can.
Sure, why not? Why not throw people into movies or do whatever you want? I mean, because I mean the licensing issues.
They should do this
aside,
all the time.
Yes.
I want to see all the crossovers. I want to see Fast and Furious people fight. I don't know, Jean-Claude Van Damme. Like
Transformers.
Transformer. I want to see him fight Transformers.
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Oh my God! Cars against people who drive cars. This is. How are they not doing this?
Oh my God.
That was the most excited I've ever seen Dave.
Oh my
No,
gosh!
but he's so
Oh my God.
right.
No,
he's
guys.
so right.
I'm really glad I never Googled Venom 2 before, because the fucking fifth result is the cast. The second result is the cast. The fifth person on the cast list is J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson. And I'm just like, why the fuck would you do that? Why would you not hide that better? Anyway, doesn't particularly matter, I guess. But no, Fast and Furious Transformers, that's a crossover we need to do. TB&J Productions, we are writing that film. I will pitch it to Vin Diesel myself. Thank you.
He will laugh at us.
And then I will go to Hasbro and say, you guys will sell all the toys, and they will say, done, do it.
And then we'll have a fight with Jason Momoa. We'll make it all work.
He can be the villain.
And they'll kick his ass.
Jason Momoa can pilot the jet plane that is Megatron, as Vin Diesel is in Optimus Prime, and they fucking fight.
Megatron's not a jet plane. That's
He's a
you're thinking of
gun?
Starscream.
He was a jet plane in the movie I
He's
saw.
a Walther
Walther P-38 pistol.
Where's this
Walther
going?
P-38 pistol.
The original Megatron was a Walther P-38, but
There's
Megatron, he was a jet plane in the
in the
Bayverse.
Bayverse, which doesn't matter or count.
But there's the thing is, if you got the crossover, it'd probably be that version.
Yeah.
No, that'd be bad.
because that CG
if-
Megatron exists somewhere.
If he kills it, that's fine.
Sure, I mean he's
Venom-
gonna kill him. It's Vin Diesel.
Venom kills the Bayverse. I got
Family's
it.
family, no matter what planet you're from. Let's go kill this fucking Megatron.
Oh, that's a thing.
Let's
They
go,
need to put
Optimus Prime.
Deadpool in a bunch of bad movies.
All right, mix it with Twister, and I'm in.
It's like how they put Deadpool in a bunch of
Well,
bad comics.
we already got in this movie a Twister crossover where he does the weird tornado in the jail.
Oh my gosh, that was the most ridiculous part. That was the part where it's
He's
like,
gonna.
oh,
all right, wait,
if
before
they
we
go
go into
back
this
to
end credit
this,
scene,
We already have. We're already
I know, but
almost wrapped up this.
But real quick, they got a lot of weird powers. Like there's a scene where Carnage has computer tech powers.
those parts between
Yeah,
the tornado and his Wi-Fi ability, like
It's
his,
so
his-
weird.
I was like,
What are their powers?
So,
man,
to give it
no,
context,
thank you.
there-
No, thank you.
If you're listening to this podcast, I assume you've already seen Venom 2. Otherwise, what the fuck are you doing? You should never listen to us to get
you're
your movie.
wrong. Whatever you're doing about your life, you're
This is
wrong.
a spoiler
Change it.
cast. You
Change
should
it.
watch this
Don't,
after the
Don't
movie.
end it. Just change it.
Yeah. Don't end it. Let it keep streaming. Give us those views. But just anyway, he
Put it on repeat.
I meant their life. Like, don't
Stop it.
feel that you're a
Cassidy.
bad person. Don't feel that you're a bad person and end it. Just change the way you're doing it. You can do better. You're better than this.
Cassidy breaks into a convenience store and just beats to death the owner, and then just sits at the computer, and Carnage just comes out of his fingers and goes into the sides of the laptop and just is in the police database looking up where his girlfriend's being held at the Ravencroft Asylum. And I'm just like, that's what? How can the symbiote do that?
Yeah, it turns out Carnage has universal plug-and-play support for USB 2.0.
Thank you, Technical Chris. This is why we have him on the podcast.
Yeah.
This exact situation
You can go.
right now.
You can now
I
go.
hereby conclude my contract. Bye, everybody.
Goodbye.
You're not getting paid for the rest of it.
Sit back down.
Fair enough.
Oh yeah, okay, fine. But yeah, that's the end credit scene. Venom is officially part of the MC universe, probably. It definitely seems like they're going to put him in something. That being said, I have no idea personally about all the corporate nonsense going on in the background between Sony and Marvel, and whether or not this will actually be anything more.
I'll probably I can give you the play-by-play real quick. They're probably Sony looking at the amount of money Endgame made, and they're like, please let us be in this universe and make some money off of it.
And I'm sure that's how Sony's going into it, but Marvel's probably going into it like, we would rather hold the rights to this character, and they have like the whole pie of money that is what Venom could make them, and they're just trying to figure out who gets how many slices.
I'll give you the next part of that conversation after you said something like that, of like, hey, we would kind of actually like the rights. Sony then
rebuts.
Comes back and goes,
no,
but it's all we have. We've got this and like James Bond.
Sony has James Bond?
I believe
no,
so.
I think Columbia Pictures has James Bond.
I could be wrong.
I think you're definitely wrong. Sony definitely does not have James Bond. I'm looking that up right now.
And
this is awesome.
We can cut out a lot of this.
I'm putting a marker on the podcast. We're definitely cutting all of this. Yeah, it's Eon Productions Limited, are wholly owned and controlled by the Wilson Broccoli family. What? MGM. MGM has James Bond.
Okay.
Which
I believe you.
MGM. Take two. MGM owns the James Bond franchise.
MGM owns the James Bond franchise? I tried to help you,
It's
but
okay.
I failed.
I enjoy the help. But like Eon Productions is apparently like the umbrella company, and they own another company that owns another company that owns MGM. So MGM has Bond, yeah. I knew it because they have the lion before every James Bond movie. That's MGM.
I believe you.
I don't need you to believe me. I'm right. Anyway, enough about James Bond, which is probably going to be a better movie.
I'm excited for it.
You should 100% clip that.
Yeah, I'll do it again later to get it clean. So yeah, this was a decent movie. It wasn't fantastic. It's not going to win any awards. It'll probably sit around where the first one did on the tomato meter.
It's exactly
100%.
what it needed to be.
It's 100% winning an MTV Movie Award. What are you
think?
talking about? 100%.
Oh, you're being sarcastic. All right,
no,
cool.
an MTV Movie Award. I'm 100%
Oh, wait.
being realistic when I say it's going to win that.
But there was no lobster tanks and there was no Eminem yelling Venom.
But seriously, with the sweaty version of Tom Hardy, like he's just like a sweaty.
In the first movie, yeah.
No, this whole movie too. He's just wet.
Yeah, he's just constantly sweaty.
He's just constantly wet and like perspiring.
Well, it's because he's constantly wearing that Detroit Lions jacket, and the Lions are fucking terrible.
In Los Angeles or San Francisco?
That's what I was like. Why are you a Lions fan in San Francisco?
I was like, is he from Detroit? Is that an established canon? Like, I don't get this at all.
Me either. That was such a weird piece. Is that like Hardy? Like, no, I want my Lions jacket. Like, really? Like, what? Who's doing this? Did the Lions pay you to wear that jacket? No, but that was weird. But yeah, this movie is probably going to be like as for when time looks back on it. And I have a feeling, honestly, as the years go by, people are going to look back on this movie and say, "Oh, that's the one where Venom joined the MCU universe."
Yep.
Like that's exactly what this movie is going to be remembered
exactly
for.
what this movie is.
Oh, that was the thin line they drove between the two of them? Wow, that'll be the response. No, right. No, because the first Marvel Cinematic Universe doesn't say is in association with at the top. Like they should, like I was borderline like they should put that in parentheses.
Probably,
like
yeah.
it's a whisper to you, like in association with.
Yeah. But this movie,
But not really.
it was good. Go see it if you haven't. It's worth a watch. You're not gonna love it probably, but it's just a fun time. And I like fun movies. I like stupid fun movies.
You should totally rent this after he makes his Marvel debut.
If it goes on a streaming service, 100%.
Like 100%, like totally watch it. Like yeah, but like you know,
But only if you
don't
already
go-
have that streaming service. Don't buy that streaming service.
Yeah, don't
to
pick up
watch
a
it.
streaming
Don't go
service.
out of your way
Yeah.
in any form or fashion.
If anybody's like,
see this
hey,
movie.
if anybody's like, hey, we want to do something, and you have expendable cash, and you're like, hey, I want to see a movie, and you're like, this is the only thing out, it's not the worst decision.
I mean, it might be because by the time people are listening to this in the coming days, Bond is almost out.
Then it
Just
becomes the
wait,
worst.
Go
And
see
Dune's
Bond.
right around the corner, and Halloween kills.
Let me be clear. I'm not going to see Bond.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Doesn't your brother-in-law like have a sexual obsession with Bond?
Yes, he does, and you can by all means take him.
Hey, we can have him on the podcast.
Maybe.
Pretty much the same thing.
All right, but that's it for Venom 2. Venom 2 was awesome. Carnage is awesome. Go see it. Just
That
fucking go see
wasn't my synopsis.
it.
at
No,
all.
it wasn't. I
But-
know.
I don't think it was any of ours.
No,
You
that
didn't
wasn't.
even say that.
You're just a bad at summarizing. Like you're good at other things, but
Yeah.
summarizing what we said. No,
I know what I'm
and-
doing. I'm
yeah,
controlling
you-
the narrative.
Venom 2 was a movie. Watch it.
Venom
it
2
was
was
a
a
movie.
Jeff.
It might be connected to things.
Thanks, people.
Troy, thanks for being here.
You're welcome.
Chris,
For
thanks for
once.
being here.
Always happy.
D, thanks for being here.
I can't believe you said it. You're welcome.
I said what?
Thanks
It's
for being
because
here.
it's
Oh, yeah.
because it's the groove he gets in at the end of the episode. It's not
It's
really
just the
a
scripts that go
sincere-
through my head. If you like what you heard, please leave us a kind review on your favorite podcasting platform or leave us a comment on our YouTube videos. And if you would like to reach out to tell us something, you can do that at tbandjpodcast@gmail.com. We want to hear from you because we
or
love
else.
you people.
Or else.
Yeah, or else. Exactly.
Yeah, this is a threat now.
Or Elsa.
No, we're not. No. Don't, not or
What
else.
if we had a Frozen crossover?
That's it. That's the podcast. We're done. Goodbye, everybody.